Alrighty, it is now February 3rd of 2020, and ever since the release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans have had a lot of issues with the sequel trilogy and exactly how Disney and Lucasfilm treated it in its entirety, ranging from The Last Jedi all the way over to The Rise of Skywalker and how that was handled. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 is that yes, this was the very end of the Skywalker saga, and yes, this was the culmination of the saga that started back in 1977, but one movie that a lot of fans had a lot of issues with was, of course, Star Wars The Last Jedi by writer and director Rian Johnson. A lot of fans had issues, including myself, with how the character of Luke Skywalker was used and portrayed in that movie, and as well as how the characters like Rey and others were used in the movie from the first all the way until the third act of that film. Now, in case you guys did not know, the new Star Wars universe by Disney and Lucasfilm is underway. They are currently developing endless amounts of stories for a library's worth of Star Wars material, ranging all the way from this year of 2020 until 2029. Over 10 years worth of Star Wars related material to come in the near future. Now, what's really exciting about this is that what they're trying to do, obviously, is that they're trying to expand the franchise. And one of the big plans is all to do with rewriting aspects of The Last Jedi and their big plan into doing that. Now, on top of all of this, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are currently finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are said to be focused on the future of the franchise and their new Star Wars universe, where one of their big plans has to do with Disney Plus and their new Star Wars movies. However, a part of their new universe is that they are going to develop a way to fix Star Wars The Last Jedi in multiple ways for their new Star Wars universe. It's noted that one of the ways that both Disney and Lucasfilm will do this is by bringing both Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau on board on a creative level to rewrite elements of The Last Jedi in the forms of books and novels as well as comics, and that parts of the lore in the film by Rian Johnson will be retconned. It's noted that this is a plan to fix many elements of The Last Jedi to satisfy the fans who had problems with the film, and that the new canon material will retell the life of Luke Skywalker and his life during his time on the world of Ahch-To, and that Disney wants to rewrite The Last Jedi this way in order for the fans to view the film differently after realizing they made major mistakes to the sequel trilogy era. Now, this is a plan in place in order to give fans new Star Wars lore as well as retelling the story of Rey's Jedi training, and more of The Last Jedi where this will be visually told, as well in the form of comics and books as well as graphic novels that will restore many aspects of The Last Jedi as a film. Now, the thing that's really interesting about this is that I think a lot of fans out there are going to have problems with this because this seems like Disney and Lucasfilm are doing it in the worst way. I feel that the proper way of rewriting or retelling aspects of The Last Jedi would be in the form of adding in the deleted scenes onto the actual Blu-ray disc of The Last Jedi and giving us a different cut of the movie. That's a more proper way of handling it other than, using it as a way of selling off books, novels, comics, and graphic novels that are both going to visually retell the story and will retell the story in our minds as we read this material. Now, of course, this is all an attempt in order to fix the character of Luke Skywalker from Episode 8 by Rian Johnson, and it really does tell us. It tells that Disney and Lucasfilm are very desperate in order to fix elements of The Last Jedi in order to really restore elements of the sequel trilogy. And I don't know about you guys out there, but when we look at Star Wars as a whole, obviously Disney and Lucasfilm have gone through a lot of trouble because The Rise of Skywalker was by far the toughest production there was, and there's no denying that because Kathleen Kennedy said this, Bob Iger said this, even J.J. Abrams and Mary Ann Brandon, the editor of the film, that Episode 9 was by far the toughest production. And a lot of it had to do with the complex part about Episode 8, of how they were left with no, Luke Skywalker, there was no Snoke. They had to bring back a new villain. They had to figure out exactly what they were going to do with Rey, because originally Luke Skywalker was going to have more training sessions with Rey. All these different things were actually a bigger problem for The Rise of Skywalker. So, by them using the Star Wars universe to retell aspects of the Last Jedi and to rewrite elements of that, to me, I think it's going to be only catered to the hardcore fans who actually read this material, not so much for the casual fans. that really only tune into the movies and such, right? So it almost seems like that this is Disney's attempt at satisfying not all Star Wars fans, but only for the hardcore fans. And that's not the way to do things. To me, there's a lot of casual fans that I know that had a lot of issues with Episode 8. And in order to do things properly, they really do need to release an actual disc with the deleted scenes, such as when Luke is mourning the death of Han Solo, or, other scenes related to Rey's Jedi training that was cut from the film. All of these different things need to be added into an actual disc in order to actually fix elements of all of that. So, with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.